Hi everyone, welcome to the first and inaugural edition of PICANTE Marketing Summit. This is an edition for which we have worked hard because we also launched our own platform for streaming, hosting streams, networking, etc. So we are quite nervous about how this is going to happen today. And especially since I'm moderating the first panel discussion, is going to be very interesting. Okay, so everybody knows that this year it's not going to count for your birthday. So first, you should not worry about this fact. But the social media marketing landscape is so dynamic these days that it can be really difficult to keep up with, especially with all these things happening. And social media marketing is now highly integrated in various workflows and increasingly technology-driven. And those very same innovations are disrupting the way consumers discover and buy products online. This is something that all marketing experts know. And this is influencing the purchase journey of the customer and changing the way that customers interact with brands. And in order to remain competitive, every brand needs to keep on the latest tech trends and innovation. This is why we have gathered all these great digital marketeers for this panel discussion, which come from different parts of the marketing industry. And we will ask them some interesting questions to share their knowledge. So I have with me today some bright minds who have all accumulated several years of online marketing experience in, like I told you, in several industries. And it's my pleasure to introduce you. And I would like to say, as I read their names, to say hello to everyone. Liisa-Indra Pajuste. Okay. Martina Filipovic. Okay. Yanina Kaplya. Okay. Maria E. Arnidou, and or Barnea. So this means that you can all hear me, so there are no glitches in the stream. So there's no time. There's no time to waste. So I would like to start with already the first question, and it's regarding the first topic of our discussion, which is social triggers on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And this question is for everyone. 2020 is a year of challenges for marketing experts all around the world and all industries. And whenever we are talking about B2B or B2C, we all use lead generation campaigns to trigger subscriptions. Could you share some of the insights into what type of campaigns worked well this year for your company or for your company's clients? And maybe also mention the social media channel which performed better. So to have an order, I would like to start with Maria, then continue with Martina, Yanina, Liisa-Indra, and Or. Okay, so Maria, you can start.
Great, thank you, Zoltán. It's great to see you all and speak with you all. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and hearing us. So in order to give people some insight regarding your question from where I come from, we are part of the B2B operations, and we are a fantasy sports software company. So what's good about our activity is that still traditional ways and business relationships are the keystone to growth and to generating leads and to all of your strategies. Having this as a starting point, we are relying, in order to create our campaigns, we rely mostly on strategic communication of content and news. And the second part is that we have already turned our homepage to a full-fledged landing page for really all types of campaigns. So what we do is essentially share our business news, partnerships, all our news content in order to promote brand awareness, add credibility to our brand, and from that instant on, trigger the subscriptions and the lead generations from our followers. What has worked for us mostly as a channel is LinkedIn, where we have noticed, just let me check my notes, about a 64% of visitation acquisition and the standard 7 to 7.5% of engagement. So regarding the B2C side of things, though, because our clients as B2C operators have direct consumers and users, we have learned that what works best for them is, again, content campaigns with how to play instructions and ambassador videos, which have worked great for them, and they have generated a great deal of leads, but also registrations and participations to the game. So to sum this up for us, the key is the strategic and non-spammy campaign strategy of sharing your news and your identity as a company in order to achieve visitation and lead generation for further growth.
Okay, thank you, Maria. So we will go to Martina now.
Hi, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me and SOFTRAY Solutions to be a part of this magnificent event. I applaud you for the excellent organization, and I'll start this by introducing SOFTRAY Solutions and myself. We are a software development provider from Atlanta. We are predominantly B2B focused. Our business model is B2B, but when it comes to campaigns and subscribing triggers, we are focused on B2C as well, meaning that we are not only client-oriented, we are oriented towards the audience that is to be our next generation of team members. I would like to agree with Maria on LinkedIn and its importance, especially now in these unprecedented times. And for us, LinkedIn has proven to be one of the biggest lead engagement rate. Share quality content. Develop aim to show our of the business we do. So we like to see that we truly one of our biggest accomplishments as well to have, but also all of our.
We can't really hear Martina, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah, it seems Martina has some issues with her connections. I would like to ask you, Martina, to disconnect and reconnect again.
Okay. Did you hear anything I said?
Part of it, so...
Okay, I'll repeat again. Okay.
Yes, this type of things always happen with online conferences. At live conferences, if you have this type of things, like a speaker not knowing how to answer, you usually go to the next speaker. So but in this case, we will wait for Martina because let's face it, this is a new way of conferencing, so you have to be more mature about this type of things, especially with all these internet connections and happening everywhere in the world. Okay, until let's see if she can reconnect. Nevertheless, okay. Yanina, you were supposed to be the next one in line. So as it seems that Martina is, once she gets back, she can wait for later. So continue, Yanina, with your answer for this question.
Okay, hi everyone. And just to fill in the pause while Martina is reconnecting. So thank you all of you for joining and for inviting me to be a part of this discussion. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Yanina and I'm head of marketing at EVOPLAY Entertainment. We are a game provider, mostly working in B2B landscape. Just to add to what has been already mentioned, of course, in terms of business, we all use LinkedIn for all our lead generation campaigns. We share news. We all understand how to communicate in business landscape. But of course, this year we noticed that the key to the success of any type of communication and any campaign we have is the differentiation of the platform. So we realized that it's important for us to understand what message and what campaign and what news we share on each platform. That is why we are using LinkedIn pure B2B. So all of the business news, some entertainment, of course, not all the boring stuff. Of course, Instagram and YouTube, these are pure B2C platforms. So even though we understand that our B2B audience can log in and check the news that we have there, we still try to adopt the content for it to be more entertaining and more easy to perceive for our B2C audience, because all of us definitely have our users, have our target audiences. And Facebook is a smart mix for both. In terms of which one worked best, of course, for business, it's always LinkedIn. So all of the campaigns, all of the news, whether we're sharing it on our own LinkedIn page or we're co-speaking with other profiles, like same with Zoltán, with different media and so on and so forth. So there always should be a dialogue between B2B companies in any landscape we have, because any talking, like a presentation of a brand when it's just you speaking to all of them, all of the people around the world, of course, it's really great. But when you have a dialogue between 2, 3, 4, 5 industry experts, that works better. So we try to engage different types of businesses, business verticals, in order to have the dialogue, even on social media. In terms of most successful B2C campaign, I would really say, would like to mention, this year we have created an innovative marketing campaign for one of our games, which was the face filter on Instagram. That wasn't truly selling. That was just a part of entertainment and experience and experience with the brand. So anyone who was playing our game could log in on Instagram and try the mask of the hero that was in the game. So that wasn't a kind of a selling point for us, but we definitely saw a great engagement and using of this really cool mask and really cool Instagram feature. So I would say that the key right now, what we see when people are all so-called separated, sitting each of us at our separate home and our separate location, is that people still want to interact. And I would say that is the key. We need to show people how they can interact right now, how they can interact through our products, through our brands, and how our businesses can interact when we don't have, for example, offline events. So I should say that we all here need to use all the innovative approach to make our brand visible, to make our product visible, and to make it accessible whenever you can be with the community or not. So that should be definitely put online.
Okay, thank you, Yanina. Martina, let's try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Did you hear anything of the things I've said? Or
No.
do I need to repeat myself?
You can repeat.
Okay, sorry for that. I don't. The weather is really bad here, so the connection is being disrupted all the time. I am coming from SOFTRAY solutions company. We are a software development provider for mostly B2B and enterprise solutions. So when it comes to strategic approach to social media, we divide it in two parts: B2B as a client-oriented approach, and B2C as a trigger, so to say, to attract all the young engineers to have an insight into the company's culture and what it feels like to work for us. So what we have demonstrated is an exquisite LinkedIn importance, as you all have mentioned already, and that is understood since LinkedIn has 650 million members. And what we aim towards with LinkedIn is showcasing our knowledge, our insight development, our insight research. And we do so to claim the path that we have started now. And that is the only thing that is important for our client, is that our delivery, the product delivery, is on time, it's valuable for it, and it helps them solve problems. So we like to focus on solutions mostly, and prior to the client's inquiry towards us. We have increased engagement on LinkedIn at approximately 10% by engaging with all of these items that I have stated, and we plan to expand it in the future. I believe in the real importance of the content, especially in the B2B sector. And why is that? Because nowadays people don't have so much time to research everything. They want to find the details and information at one place. And we pride ourselves on having the team of exceptional people who excel at their jobs, and the focus we have as a B2B company and enterprise software solutions is providing them with all that material. So at the end, our triggers are not only based for B2B sector, but for our future colleagues, so to say, because IT industry nowadays is very competitive, and we like to live the brand we always storytell that we are.
Thank you, Martina.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so we will continue with Liisa-Indra for this for her reply on this question. Unmute your microphone first. Okay, good.
Yes. Hi, I'm Liisa. I'm talking to you from Estonia, Tallinn, but I've been working internationally, and I've been in the field for almost 20 years. And it has given me a unique insight in every medium. I started when we didn't have social media, which means that we didn't have Facebook and Instagram and all that, but we had old media. So what I've been noticed is that B2B and C2B has developed to be C2C, like client to client, actually, because I've been viewing most of the audience as possible clients, and the latest is an international lawyers association that I've been working with. I do represent many different companies, and some are big retail companies, some are big telecom companies, and some are like niches. I also did represent CSR Estonia, which is a corporate social responsibility forum in Estonia. And it's interesting how CSR has developed to be one of the biggest key factors in Europe, at least, and in Scandinavia, definitely. It's important to show how a company can be a partner to the society. And I had one big retail company that we added CSR elements to the PR, just to show different ways how they incorporate values and help society in general. And it gave a huge impact in all the mediums. We did use two, which were Facebook and Instagram. And the growth was almost 400% when we added CSR element and did different kind of videos and engagements, because in nowadays we know that it doesn't matter how much reach you have, it matters how much engagement you have, because Facebook, I think this year maybe changed the algorithm. So I've been chasing engagement mostly. But yeah, to have C2C, to have CSR, and to have fun, authentic emotion while a person sees it. Because whoever sees, you're talking to a person, a people. And whether it's in LinkedIn or whether it's in Facebook or Instagram, the main thing that I want to see is some kind of emotion. And when a person has a positive emotion and it comes from this brand, then it creates a link. So yeah, and videos are especially popular this year. Last year, I would say it was groups in Facebook, using groups and making different kinds of groups and building group conversations. But this year, I'd have to say that everything has been more visual, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Yes, it's very interesting with all these algorithm updates. Even Google has updated their algorithm this year, which are now showing mobile-ready websites first in their results. So we basically now tripled our traffic on one of our websites, so which was so good. So we move on to the final speaker. Or,
hey guys,
tell us your story.
All right, thank you for having me, and it's great to be here today. My name is Barnea. I'm the founder and creative director of Lemur Creatives, which is a creative agency group working in Israel with a lot of local clients here from the areas of culture, lifestyle, startup and high tech, law, and so on. But also a few international clients, mostly working in the UK and the United States. So I'm jealous of all of you talking about LinkedIn as you are, because in Israel, if that's interesting, LinkedIn is still not at the place it is supposed to be. It works very well with high tech and startup groups right here, and everybody's on it. But most of those companies are working not in the Israeli market. They work abroad, or they work with the United States or the UK. So their audience here for potential clients, whether it's B2B or B2C, specifically B2B, is limited in Israel. And we're a small country anyway, so it's limited. So most B2B campaigns, forwarding companies in Israel are not targeted to the local market at all. So we are still not in the place that we are supposed to be, bringing potential leads and potential clients from B2B to Israel. Having said that, we are seeing in LinkedIn a lot of companies, such as some of our clients, major nonprofit organizations, or engineers that build highways and roads, and some artists as well, musicians, wanting to get more and more on LinkedIn, because they understand that the possibilities there as time goes on are not strictly and individually for high tech and startup groups. So I am seeing more areas that comes into LinkedIn in these last year specifically. But we are still seeing at the United States as well, Facebook as the leading platform for lead generation and all we do. This involves everything you guys said here. I'm a big drama fan. I'm a big talking, as you said, talking to the heart of people, and trying to get into what gets them going, and building a content that maybe will find a soft spot in their heart, even if we're selling an e-commerce off-the-shelf platform, anything that is kind of a superficial e-commerce item, or if we're selling a creation or a song, it doesn't matter. I'm always trying to get into people's hearts, and using the technology to lead them in. But yeah, absolutely, Facebook is still number one in everything I do. And I'm saying this not very happy saying this, because Facebook is it has a lot of tools to bring in leads, no question about it, and it keeps clients happy. But the infrastructure of Facebook is challenging as the day goes by, and updates that they are doing all the time, and everything that has to do with Facebook Ads Manager and Business Manager is challenging, especially with the client services and how they spend their money with the campaigns that we and how they spread it around with the audience that we are building. The Facebook lead forms has become almost, I think, number one technology that brings in leads, whether it's B2B or B2C. Even B2B clients like major broadcasting companies or people or major companies that are searching for employees. The Facebook lead generation form has brought us a lot of data. This past year and a half, we've collected most of our data for clients through that forms. I'm talking about hundreds, maybe thousands of potential leads in each campaign, which builds a lot of data to the client, which you can use on and on again, and of course use the technologies that we have in our hands to search for similar profiles such as that data. So yeah, Facebook for us is still number one. I'm hoping for the day that we'll see the change in it.
I don't think that will happen soon. Especially since now TikTok is coming along and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I know about the case in Israel about LinkedIn. That's why it's so hard to find your profiles on LinkedIn. When I don't find the speaker's profile on LinkedIn from Israel, I know, okay, yeah, I forgot. Okay, so let's move on to our next question, which somehow, since we already talked about these triggers and the methods to make the visitors like and follow your social content, especially on these big three for social media platforms, I would like to talk about digital empathy. And let's stay in current times. You must face the fact that COVID-19 has been used by many marketing agencies as a way to drive more traffic towards the brands they are working with, or taking advantage of the COVID-19 keyword, hashtag, etc. We also, of course, had many companies sending us content which involved the COVID-19 keyword. And in your personal opinion, do you think that such campaigns should be penalized by the audience, or maybe filtered by the social media channels? And if you would like to get your input on, maybe tell your personal view on this, not as a marketing expert, marketing head of marketing, etc. Just your personal opinion about this. Should this keyword be used by companies? Because they used it. Nevertheless, every company has posted a photo on any social media channel that their employees are working from home, blah, blah, blah. And they used it for marketing, let's face it. So now we will change a bit the order. So we will start with Liisa, then head to Yanina, Maria, Martina, and or once again, you're the last.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've been thinking about it this way, whether the posting or using is fear-based or whether it's passion-based and pro-life based. Like whenever you post or say something, I think it's important to notice what is behind it. So whether a company uses COVID to scare people to buy something, I think it's wrong, and I don't think it's ethical. And I actually think that people kind of wrote it off anyway. They don't like it because you don't like to be feared. In this topic, I've been thinking how important it is as we as marketers have to stay honest and open to ourselves to not write or create or post content that we would rather not have our name under. I've been having 2 times during COVID a confrontation with my clients that wanted to have a kind of fear-based content, and but we just talked, and they did realize that they don't actually want to make people to implement fear, but they wanted to just show what they have. So we kind of, it was a really big talk. And it was, it took a lot of time, but yeah, I think it's important to be there for your client and to show them other ways to get to the audience. And yeah, and I also would like to say that maybe it's always important to try to tell your own story and not to get into the main story topic, because during COVID in Scandinavia and in Estonia, in the Baltics too, there was a lot of fear. And to come out of this another side and to see, okay, how can I really help, and how can my clients or the products that I'm representing, how can I add this to give some value? And at some point, it actually meant
Okay, so can everybody hear me? Let's see who is missing. Lisa is missing. Nevertheless, it's good that we are back now streaming. So either way, after Lisa, Yanina, you were supposed to answer this question. Martina, can you turn off your microphone, please? Okay.
So for this case, my personal opinion is that we should always think about the impact and the consequences of the words, not just we as people pronounce or type or post, but as leaders of our corporate communication. And this topic right now is really trendy, and I know we discussed it already. Whoever watched the Social Dilemma movie, the documentary from Netflix, really start thinking more about all the responsibilities of our actions and our words, and especially that we're leading the corporate communication of our brands. I think it's really important not to mix the topics that are helpful and useful for the brand and the hype you can have during like a week or two or day while using the COVID keyword. So my personal opinion towards any kind of brand working in B2B, B2C landscape is that if you have a strong brand and a clear messaging, you do not need COVID keyword to be used as a hype for your general communication, because we're now working and creating a lot of really cool creative campaigns, and I don't think we need additional source of inspiration, which COVID is not. So from my personal perspective, there shouldn't be any COVID related campaigns posted externally if that doesn't help your employees, or if it doesn't help your people who work for your brand or your company, which can also be posted in internal communication and internal chats and email channels. So.
Okay, thank you, Yanina. Maria?
Yes, Zoltán, I strongly agree with what Yanina said, and I would like to add that there are two sides in this whole COVID communication issue. One side is, standard and very much needed communication and information towards your own team and staff as a company and your partners in order to inform everyone and assure them that you're working towards business continuity and, of course, for the safety of all your people. This is an important message and information to get through to your team and partners. But that's just one side, and this can be really condensed in one message or article, one section of your website. There is no need, and it is unethical to use COVID-19 for any promotional reasons or search engine optimization reasons that, like we've seen, that it has happened a lot. I think that you just need to stick to the basics, stick to the facts, and just help your teammates, your partners feel secure that you're doing everything towards the best.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Martina, we continue with you.
Well, honestly, I don't see it predominantly as taking an advantage. I concur on mostly what Maria has said. I believe that it's important to stay in the loop and keep in the loop of all information to all of the stakeholders involved around our brand. But I also agree on Yanina that we have a responsibility for choosing our words and choosing the way how to communicate them. But in these terms, I believe that we are now talking mostly about brand empathy as an overall, while digital empathy is something else. It's about creating a shared journey between our company and brand. For example, relating our audience by sharing information with them. So I believe a brand empathy should be something that we are striving all over, not only when there is an difficult times or something like that, but being careful on how we communicate our brand efforts, how we talk about difficult times and unexpected situation is a reflection of our brand and everything we build in general, not only externally but internally as well. I believe that commenting and discussing how one individual or company has succeeded and overcame difficulties is something that can be used as a help with other people, so they have something to learn from. But on the long terms, I believe in being very careful with communicating, showcasing information, and absolutely not using the COVID-19 keywords in misleading agenda, or so to say.
Okay, so before we got cut off. Martina, can you switch up your microphone?
Okay.
Yeah, so before we got disconnected, Lisa was replying to the question. Lisa, would you like to finish quickly?
I think I already did. I really don't even remember what I was talking about in the end. So I hope everything works out. Yeah.
Okay,
I say whatever I needed to say.
Okay, so it's good to be back online then. Okay, so we move on to the next topic, which involves the new social media channels that are popping up everywhere. We talk about TikTok. Oh, sorry. There was one reply missing for this question. Or why didn't you raise your hand?
I'm sorry, because we got cut off, so I thought we wanted to save some time for it.
No worries. Go ahead.
Okay. So yesterday, I sent this to my team. I saw on Instagram this ad at the States. It was a big bulletin board by a dental clinic, that had a girl with a COVID mask on, and it said, "The best time to get braces."
Huh.
And I kind of liked it because it's a cynical take on the COVID and everything that we are going right now. And of course, this is a very troubling time. But I think that in this view of things, we have to remember that we need to keep optimistic and we need to keep our good health and laughter when needed, even when things are very troubling. And we have to do it in advertising as well. So as long as we are not pushing the buttons too far, and as you all said, choosing our words carefully. So there's a place to take advantage of the situation, to get clients, even if to get clients or leads or just people's eye on it, even in a cynical way. But it has to be done. I think it has to be done carefully, of course. So this girl with the mask on saying it's a good time to take braces. It's very cynical, even very dark. But it's nice. It's good. It makes people laugh.
Yeah, and especially, have you guys seen that Borat 2 is coming out now?
Yeah, of course. Now Borat is taking advantage of it. Yes, of course. So we have to keep optimistic and we have to keep laughing. And if there's a creative person behind an ad or any kind of a campaign that can bring those words into life, so I'm all for it. But of course, it has to be advised with other people. It has to be advised with a team, and make sure you double check everything because it is a troubling time, and anything that you do can backfire on you if you're not doing it correct. Especially if it backfires on a client, which you're not wanting to go into that situation. If you have a good idea and you pursue the client to get into it, and then it backfires and the client is the one taking all the heat, not yourself. So yeah, you have to be touchy about those things. So I'm all for keeping optimism and keeping people laughing, even if it's a troubling time, even when people are dying. And I'm saying this bluntly because people are dying. But of course, do it carefully, do it elegantly, and choose the words that you want to do carefully.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. We've added 15 more minutes to this panel discussion because of this disconnection problem. So we can move forward to the next topic, which includes the new social media platforms and how people can take advantage of it. I'm speaking here about TikTok, Lasso. I think Lasso is a Facebook product, and Vero. It's also something similar to Instagram. So this is a question for whoever wants to answer this one. Just raise your hands, and they can go first, and we can move forward. So who would like to go first with this reply about new social media channels and how can you take advantage of them in these times? So who would like to start? Yanina, okay, thank you. I mean, raise your hands physically, okay? Make it more interesting. Okay, so you can unmute yourself and go ahead.
I will be the first, even though we do not have, we are not using TikTok actively for our marketing campaigns. I would like just to say that even though we do not post anything on TikTok, all of us are using it, and it's undeniable that TikTok has a really massive audience, as well as Facebook and Instagram. And for all of us to be in trend and to be up to date with our technological solutions when we approach our products, we definitely need to keep an eye on those platforms. So this is the same thing that we do with TikTok. So we research all of the user behavior and the user journey on TikTok to understand how we can use the user behavior, the user experience, the UX and the UI for our products in future. Because what TikTok and Instagram and Facebook add as a solution, in half a year, it will find a mass adoption on any app everywhere. So when we look at how people interact with content, for example, how they use the vertical screen, how they swipe when they want to check the next story, or how they scroll down when they read the news feed, as well as how they click on the right side of the screen when they want to see the next story on Instagram. This is how they will interact, and this is what will come to their user behavior in future. So we are adding those features to our games when we are developing them, because this, as you all understand, the majority of traffic soon will come from mobile. And now for us, for example, it's 75%, and I really assume it will increase in future. So we definitely want our users to see that our product is designed mobile first, and that the user behavior, the user experience they have with other apps will be as smooth with our product as with other products. So for this case, I would say keeping an eye on TikTok and trying to post and to see how the content, the visual content is perceived there is just important, not just for marketer, but for developer, designer, and whoever is working on product.
Okay, thank you. And I see Maria raising her hand.
Yes, I would like to add. I would like to say that this is a very smart and very constructive approach, Yanina, for you and your product. But I would like to add that this whole trends and social media selection for campaigns and advertising, it also comes down to targeting and demographics. So it really depends on identifying your target audience and then comparing their demographics and who they are to who actually follows medium like TikTok or Lasso or Vero actively. Now, for us, TikTok is a medium with a very young demographic, considering that we are mostly addressing business people in the iGaming industry. So we haven't even really considered it actively. However, regarding Lasso and Vero that Zoltán mentioned, and I researched after our first rehearsal meeting, I think that Vero seems very promising because it is actually a platform that it's purely organic, as it says, and it actually has a manifesto declaring the organic style of its feedback. And it's strictly mostly a timeline depending on who you follow and not depending on some vague algorithm. I think that this is something that perhaps some companies could look into it. It seems very promising already with film and music industries, but I think it's something that it would be nice to try out and look out for.
Okay, anybody else want to raise their hands? Okay, we'll go first with Lisa. Or your last.
You know what? I've been thinking about the habits that we are creating too. And I haven't been using TikTok in purpose because at least in Scandinavia and in the Baltics, it's mostly used, very young people usually use it. I think the usual is 9 to 12. And I've been thinking of what kind of habits do I create or help to create when I use TikTok as a communication channel. Well, it's true that the age limit is growing, and I totally agree that it's everything that you said about. I don't even know the names I can see, so I can't refer to, but. I totally agree that it's growing and it's important, and the way you use it, and it should be comfortable, and you have to be like linking into other platforms, or it should be incorporated somehow. Anyway, the main conflict that I have is when I use it right now, I kind of drive the anxiety that some people have when they use social media, and I don't want to do it. So as a PR consultant, it's kind of conflict, like what channels should I use? And I've been thinking that mainly LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram is usually enough. And I think it's depends on the client. But yeah, I haven't been using it. I think the responsibility towards the clients and people using also should be a topic.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Or
Yes, I agree with Lisa. It really depends on what your client is selling. And here, not only in Israel or the Middle East as well, like we are seeing it in the States and Europe as well, TikTok is still, although it's supposed to be growing to other demographics, but TikTok is still used by most children and teenagers, especially teenagers, all around the world. And most of our clients are specifically in our agency don't sell anything to teenagers, luckily for me. So we're not using a lot of TikTok, but we are seeing a lot of major companies want to get in there just for the sake of getting in there, just for they can say, we did this on TikTok and we did that on TikTok for their brand awareness, or even if it's little small things like political things, that they can tell this to another colleague or another people working in the organization, or just to make their boss happy, saying that we are working with TikTok. So we all the time with an eye on it, developing options and seeing how can we help the client get in there. But yeah, it's mostly teenager and children. On a personal side, I don't think TikTok will stay the way it is. It will change somehow, or either it will be bought by one of the big three, one of the big four, because they're all negotiation, as we all know, or it will change its way somehow, because Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft will not let it live as it is. They will try to either buy it or get it off the market, or either buy it or do some business move that will make it change its way. Same happened with Snapchat. Same happened with an old social media network like a decade ago that was called Elo. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like a month of complete hype and buzz, and then it went off the market. But they will work very hard to to maneuver it somehow. It will not change the way it is. I think it will change to something else.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, I have a lot of marketing experts on this panel who are really into ethics. Martina, so if you don't want to add this to this subject, I can move on to the next topic, which is the final one, and we'll go to combine it. Or Martina, you would like to add something?
No, I'm waiting for the final topics.
Okay, so can you mute your microphone, please? Okay, thank you. So the final topic is about bots and analytics, and we will combine them into one question because we only have about 5 minutes. So what is your opinion about using chatbots for marketing purposes on your landing pages? And of course, talking about analytics, which tools do you find more powerful? Social media analytics, talking first, and then Google Analytics. We will start with Martina now, and then head over to Maria.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to emphasize the importance of having an omni-channel approach. Although we are now living in a digital era, and I'm completely fine with that, and we all work along on striving to optimize it, but the omni-channel approach should be something that has to be a part of our strategic approach and goals for the future. So when it comes to chatbots, the importance and the relevance of that will only increase in the upcoming year. They are emerging trends, and it's crucial for all the businesses to adopt the innovative ways to deliver the continuous customer engagement. And that's it. That's undoubtedly the numbers are also increasing. So it's presumed that 47% of organizations will use chatbots for customer care, that 40% of them will deploy virtual assistants. So all the statistics and metrics are on the chatbot side, so to say. It's something that is inevitable for the companies. The fun fact is when we are mentioning Facebook a little bit earlier, that at the moment there are over 300,000 chatbots on Facebook solely. And when it comes to analytics, as I've stated previously, I firmly believe in omni-channel approach, and I believe that web, social media pages, Wikipedia and everything is what increases and helps to grow an overall brand. What I like to keep my eye on is, of course, specific goals, specific goal campaigns in analytics, conversion rate. Demographics is very important to us as we are B2B oriented predominantly. We are focused on foreign markets as well. And what we are striving to is to lower our bounce rates. But I always keep my eye on domain and page authority. And those metrics are very important to me because they reflect the quality of our content, the skeleton of our web. And in the future, I believe that even the bigger impact will come from optimizing domain and page authority. As a conclusion, yeah, I believe in importance of all the latest trends within the industry. And now I would like to add something regarding TikTok. I personally do not use it. But there is a reference I often refer to, that's l'art pour l'art, using something or doing something just for the sake of doing it. I honestly believe that strategic approach and long-term goals do way better than just reacting ad hoc to certain activities or certain trends in the industry. And I believe that all of you remember the Pokemon Go hype that happened a few years ago, and it was the moment it happened, but at the long term it didn't make any impact for the long term sake. So not just the TikTok is for young people. I see in my surroundings a few people of the golden years, so to say, the best years using it, but I believe the importance of marketer, decision maker in the company is knowing when to stick to something and when not choose something just because it's popular, because popularity changes overnight. And I'm going to leave time for others to speak as well on the final target. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina. I see Tatiana has already joined us. She's the speaker for the next case study. In the meantime, hi. You can wait for us, okay? So, Maria, now, your
Yes.
input on this.
Okay, so I strongly agree with Martina on this, that as a decision maker and as a head of marketing or strategist for your company or your clients, you need to make these decisions and customize your media and the trends that you select. So in our case, the chatbots, despite the fact that they are indeed very useful for a heavy flow of users and for companies addressed to a quite wide audience, in our case, they are not needed yet because we don't have such a heavy user flow in order to pursue something like this on our company website. Now, on the customer support point of view, we have direct support channels with 24/7 support for our clients in the B2B industry. Therefore, a chatbot it is not needed yet. On the analytics front, as Martina said, we follow an omni-channel approach as well, and the best medium to monitor all this and make meaningful and constructive reports and conclusions is Google Analytics, because it actually presents the entire acquisition and user journey. And especially, as Martina mentioned, if you're addressed to a global market, you can see everything from starting the journey from the audience overview, moving on to the acquisition channels, the bounce rates, and then, of course, all the behavior and the user flow in order to reevaluate your goals or the means that you're using to achieve them, is really a 360 kind of instrument. It gives you insight on everything. And then you can focus on separate social media analytics, like a focus on LinkedIn analytics from the platform or Facebook analytics, which are also very insightful.
Okay. Thank you, Maria. Yanina, you can go next.
So we are not using the bots either right now, but we're looking into options and how that would work with our website and our customers. In terms of analytics, I would say that all of them are important, and we use Google Analytics, of course, and the analytics of social media landscape, our own and our competitors. Additionally, we analyze the social buzz. It's what happening when you step off our social media and when you look at the media informational space in general. So I would say that it's really helpful for us to understand how people are talking about our brand. If we're talking about trendsetters or industry influencers, what are the most influential media and so-called speakers, right? Who advertise us the most, who can become our best reference, and so on and so forth. So of course, smart usage of analytics, like marketing mix, analytical mix. So I think it's really helpful. So we don't stick just to one.
Okay, thank you, Yanina. Lisa.
Well, for some clients, I am using Facebook bots, but it's just to filter out some basic things, but nothing more. And I have used Siri in my campaigns, so I agree with all the others who already talked. So I don't really need to add anything.
Okay, thank you. Or unmute.
Yeah, you're right. So bots here are something also very trendy that I think Martina said that we need to not follow trends, but to go a long way with the client and see if we are doing it correctly. So bots obviously are trendy, and not everyone is using them right. It still has, it's a new area, it's a new field. We are still learning it and still trying to see how we are doing it right. They have become popular, of course, that everything that has to do with customer service. But I don't think customers like it at all. I don't think customers like talking to bots at all. My advice always to our clients that has customer service and need to speak is get someone on the phone and get someone talking to the people. And if you don't have someone, get someone from remote, long distance, India, Ukraine, whatever, get people actually talking to you, because the bots are still not developed well to make people feel good about themselves. Not on Facebook and Instagram, maybe Siri does, but Facebook and Instagram, and if you're building a platform on WordPress and so on, it's still not developed into a human content that will do good to you. I very support everything you said about Google Analytics. We use it a lot to go down into the core of it. Clients not always understand the importance of it, and the way that we use the data to understand all the process, especially bounce rate. You can see a lot of clicks and making a client happy that he has millions of people going to his website, but then the bounce rate is very, very, very high up, and the content he is selling interests no one. His campaign was good, but then the content he is selling, that we know we have a problem in the product as well. So I recommend it to everyone, and I recommend our services always to get into Google Analytics and find the core of the content everyone is selling.
Okay, thank you. I see that Yanina and Liisa are already starting to leave this. Before, I would like to say thank you for everyone who attended this panel. And before we move on to the next panel, let's give a virtual applause for everyone. Okay, so now we move on to our next guest here, who is PhD in economics, Tatiana Ruban. Hi, Tatiana. Can you unmute your microphone?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
You are going to present a case study about how you gave away a BMW?
Yeah, how we draw an online BMW car.
Oh, that's very nice. Okay, so I will leave you to this and cut off my video. You can go until 12 CET, okay? And
all right. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm now going to share my screen. One moment, please. Yeah. I hope you see my screen, my presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So now I'm going to tell you a case study about how we arranged an online BMW car draw. Now I'm going to tell you some words about me. As Zoltán presented me, I'm a PhD in economics in international marketing and trade. And I have 9 years of practical experience in marketing, working in different industries, starting from FMCG to brand licensing, affiliate marketing, IT, legal, consulting, and so on. And I have developed over 30 marketing strategies. And I am a founder of strategic marketing agency, Marketing Gym. At Marketing Gym, our mission is to connect value and profit. We help clients to make customers happy and business profitable. So as we develop marketing strategies all the time, now I'm gonna ask you, what happened to your strategy for 2020 in 2020? Of course, the quarantine affected all of our strategies, and we had to adapt to the new circumstances. So now I'm going to tell you a case study based on my experience with Everard company. Everard is an affiliate network, affiliate marketing company specialized on health and beauty products, working all over the world. Its business model is the following. There are affiliate marketers or digital marketers that provide traffic to Everard products or offers, and the customers order this product and the company gets money. So in order to increase sales and in order to increase the income and profit, we had to focus on the affiliates. So we had to increase the number of affiliates, and we had to motivate each affiliate to provide more traffic, to provide more efforts. Focusing on an affiliate, we pictured him as follows. It's a young guy motivated by fancy life, clubs, traveling, girls, and of course the cars, fancy cars. So we developed a promotional campaign for 2020 where each affiliate could win 3 cars, starting from BMW 3 to Range Rover Vogue. And as I said, it was 1 year-long campaign. And we implemented the messages about this campaign into all of our communication, starting from social media to all public relations. It was the heart of our marketing campaign. So 3 cars, 3 races, 3 draws. Each draw means 1 event. We had experience in drawing cars offline, but there was a huge disadvantage of drawing cars offline. First of all, it provided really low coverage. You could invite only your top affiliates, top participants who could win the car. And the other part of market had really low interest to the event because they were not invited. And second of all, it was difficult to arrange it as it is a global company, and not everyone wants to go to a specific place. So we decided to use the affiliate conferences to draw our cars. We picked 3 appropriate conferences in appropriate time, and we assumed that there is our target audience, and the coverage of a conference is much higher than of offline private events. So we agreed with the conferences to make car draws there. And the BMW was actually supposed to be drawn in spring 2020 at the conference. But then, as you know, the quarantine happened. And our first reaction, of course, was just, let's wait for the conference news, what they respond. And the conference was postponed to the fall. And the interest to our contest and to our campaign started falling down, as well as our traffic, and therefore the sales. So we had no choice but to arrange it online. So we announced an online car draw, and we picked a really nice date. It was Everard's birthday, the 15th of June. So we could prepare the event, and it was a good date. You know, birthday, you celebrate and you present the car. But we faced many challenges And now I'm going to tell you about them and about the solutions that we made. The first challenge was how to prove that it is fair and honest that we present this car to a random affiliate according to the rules. So our first decision was to make it live. When it is live, people understand that there is no video editing and it is much harder to tweak or do something wrong. In order to prove that it is actually live, we took live interviews with our participants. Once someone sees himself online, he of course trusts that it is live event. We made close-up shots of ticket numbers in order to prove that tickets of every affiliate are gonna be in the drum. And of course, to prove that nothing happens to the drum, we added a little screen with the drum all over the period of the broadcasting. So people could see it at every minute in like a little window. Especially during the interviews with our guests or our experts. And because at that time, people could not see our studio. But this decision evoked another challenge. Showing each ticket to be put into the drum takes really long time. And frankly speaking, it's quite boring. So we used the trays instead of showing each ticket. This minimized the time, and in order to make it faster, we used 3 hostesses and 1 manager. One hostess was responsible for putting the tickets into the drum. 2 hostesses were delivering the tickets all the time, and 1 manager ensured that all the correct tickets were on the tray. And to fill the time, we used shows like dancing, barista show, and even drummers show. The next challenge was to show the emotions of the winner. You know, it is easy when you are making it offline. People cry, people smile, and so on. But when it is offline and you can see just a picture or a name of the winner, it's not. It doesn't give you the emotions. So we used the Zoom call, and every participant was obliged to participate in special Zoom call in order we could see them. And as well, this made extra trust because people could see themselves live. And once we drawn the car, we could see our winner. At first, we could see just his avatar, but then we asked him to put on his webcam, and we could celebrate with him, we could cheer up him, we could see his emotions. He was crying, he was laughing, he could not believe his luck. And we could talk to him. And the next tool that really helped us with this was a screen. We used a really big screen on the stage in order to imitate the presence of our audience on the stage. As you see, our managers are talking to the screen, but are talking to the winner. How to make yours to feel festive? We used different special effects like metaphone, you see it on our car, We used champagne. We encouraged our participants to just to drink champagne with us. We used cold fireworks. We checked it works well with the cars. Everything is okay with the car. So all of this stuff helps to make festive atmosphere and to make your spectacular, your viewers to feel those emotions. And the next challenge was that we were a global. Our company was global, and the challenge was how to deliver the car abroad once you draw it online. So we did not know from what country the winner will be. And we decided to provide a car in the winner's country in order not to transport, not to pay taxes into countries. We just told to our participants that the current stage is just a sample. You will get the same but in your country. And it really worked well. The next challenge was to make people watch the whole video. So we made giveaways every 10 minutes randomly. In order to participate in this giveaway, you don't have to participate in our contest. You just can be a random viewer of our car draw broadcasting, and you only have to fill a form and to stay online and to watch our video. And then we called the winner, and if he picks up the phone, we tell that he was a lucky one. We had different presents, from subscriptions to iPads, and there is a really nice tip that I want to advise you as well. We partnered with other companies on the market to make this gift fund. We took presents from different partners in the industry. They knew that the coverage will be really high, and for them it was really good advertisement. But for us, it was all the presents were appropriate to our audience, and we could cut our budget for the event and to use the partnership in this way. Just keep in mind that you can use it as well. The next challenge was to promote the next race of the contest. You know that you should at first draw the BMW, and only then you can promote the next race, the next car, because it is logical. But people don't want to watch watch something after the main event, because the main event is the car draw. So we prepared a special content, audio test drive, in order to make it interesting for our audience to watch. And the trick was that we had an extra gift after the promotion of the next race at the very end of the broadcasting. So it was a quite valuable gift. It was an action camera, and only viewers who were online at that moment and who watched our video could win the camera. So the results. Of course, the results are connected not only to this campaign, but this campaign was the heart of our strategy. we had 56,000 of views, and this figure is growing. And what is the most important, we had traffic and sales record, the best figures for 8 years. In the situation of crisis, in situation when all of our competitors were falling down, we did not cut our budgets. We kept going. We made it online instead of offline, instead of postponing it, and it really worked. So this was really an exciting moment for the whole team, for the whole company, and the company now really believes in marketing and in such promotions. But I want to tell you about the lessons that we have learned, and I would love somebody to tell me these lessons before I started the arrangements of the event. So the first lesson is about the video team. The video team must be 100% qualified and reliable. It must have experience in online streaming. It's really important because there are many video teams that work with bloggers, with commercials and so on, but they do not have experience of live streams. It's totally different. And the video team is really your best friend. Consult your video team when you have any issue. We did really good choice of our video team because this team had experience with online broadcasting of sports events. And for them, our events was not difficult at all. It was something like really easy, and they helped us really much. So just keep in mind that video team is the one of the most important pillars of your project. The second lesson is about the location. We are all used to use the Wi-Fi internet and have an experience with live streams from your smartphone. You just can feel that Wi-Fi is all right and it is enough, but it's not. Your location needs to be special, and it needs to have wire internet and really fast internet. The second lesson about the location was that it is common practice that everyone who films in special locations, they decorate it themselves and even decorate the floor cover or something like this. So this can be an extra cost for you. As well, you will be charged extra costs for like electricity, extra rent time, and so on. So just be prepared, and when you're budgeting, just keep in mind that extra costs will appear on this line. The scenario is the second really important pillar of your project. And the first point I want to tell you is that it must be made in advance. So our mistake was that we made a plan in advance, but not the scenario. And this is why we had to make many tasks in a rush, and it was like really exhausting. So the scenario is a document made by seconds. Use stock timer to calculate the time for for participants to pronounce the words, calculate time of your shows, of your prize draws by seconds, because this is really important, and this is something that gives you a lot of information about your project. The scenario tells you what kinds of props you need, like branded champagne or champagne glasses. The scenario tells you what kinds of prepared videos you need. For instance, we had really many videos, and once we prepared the detailed scenario, we understood how much work we needed to make, and we even hired different video editing companies that could prepare the videos in proper time. So, for instance, we had intro video, we had commercial about our company, we had promotional campaign commercial, we had screen main video. Just keep in mind that if you have a screen on the stage, you must broadcast something on the screen, and all these videos must be prepared in advance. So, for instance, we had main video, we had birthday video, we had calling video. Even when you call, all such details you can understand only when you prepared your scenario. Even we had next race commercial test drive, and our problem was that we did not have much time. For instance, we made test drives 2 days before the event, because we prepared the scenario quite late. And there is a small tip that may encourage you to prepare such videos, is that you can use all these videos for your promotions later. And of course, the scenario tells you what kinds of design assets you need, like all these plates, all these logo types need to be prepared in advance. For instance, photos of your prizes and so on. It's really much effort to make. The next lesson is about the decoration. Decoration of an online event is totally unlike offline. No banners at all, no photo zones. You do not need special furniture or special decoration that is usually used during offline events. But say yes to the screen. Screen is really one of the most important parts of your stage. Say yes to prepared videos that you make into the broadcasting, and consult with your video team, of course. The light is a kind of decoration as well. You can see that our car was mostly decorated by the lights, but it was surprising. It's a really surprise for me that the light is the most expensive part of the event. Usually, people who have never worked with such events don't know this information. This is why I share this with you, because it was really surprising for me. As far as you know, we use Zoom and YouTube, and our participants had to stay in Zoom in order to communicate with us, but many of them watched the whole broadcasting via Zoom. But frankly speaking, Zoom had troubles with the volume, with the picture, and I just recommend you that the main platform to watch should be YouTube or any other platform, but not Zoom or not Skype and so on. Fun online is different from fun offline. We learned that shows like dancing, barista show, drummers show are not that funny online as they are offline. So once you're making an event for the audience that is connected with B2B segments, or just consider that informative content may be used as well. So we were trying to use fun content in order to make it festive, but our mistake was that we lacked informative content. And the cost of online events is still significant. Many of us think that if you watch it on YouTube and it is filmed, it costs like nothing. You do not pay for food, you do not pay for reception, etc. But frankly speaking, it is still significant. But still, it's the budget is a bit lower than of offline. We have any. Oh, I'm back. Yeah. I was telling that the online content lives longer and has higher coverage. And do not hesitate to promote your content even after the event. I just wish you to keep going despite the virus or other crises. Adapt your strategy and you will achieve much bigger. Do not hesitate to contact me or to ask any questions. You can invite me to be friends via LinkedIn or Facebook. I would love to. And I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana. This was actually a very interesting case study.
Thank you.
Especially in these hard times, it's really hard to organize contests and stuff like that. Even with our conferences, you've seen we had some trouble with the connections and stuff like that. So I would not imagine when a drawing of a BMW happens and you're disconnected and you hear that live streaming is off. So
yeah.
It's pretty scary. Okay, so we are now waiting for the other speakers to join us in the conference stage. So if you would like to add more to this subject.
Oh, I feel like we have Alex who
he's
the next.
He's the next moderator.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, I will leave this to you.
Hey,
Okay.
Tatiana, it was really a nice presentation you had there.
Thank you very much for this great presentation. And if you want
Thank you for inviting.
Tatiana, you can look her up on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, awesome. Hi, guys. So, if everyone can see us, can hear us, I want to welcome you to the Traffic Conversion and Content Strategies for Christmas in 2020 panel. I'm gonna do a quick introduction for everyone, just to say hi to the guys, and afterwards we're gonna just dig in and start putting up tricky questions. So we have Martin Calvert from ICS Digital, Jarek Gorny from Your City Guides, and Anna Gita from MaxWeb.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay. I think we have a bit of a delay, but if everyone... Anna, are you on? Okay, Anna's having some trouble with hearing us.
Guys,
Oh, yay, hi.
making sure you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we are okay. Okay, so if everyone is ready to go, I'm gonna drop the first question to Anna, and the question is, what constitutes content in 2020? I know your background makes you more than qualified to take on this one, so you have the word. Or maybe no. Okay, I'm going to try to resolve this with are you good, Anna? Do you hear us? I don't think so. Meanwhile, I'm gonna head on to you, Martin. Tell us how SEO changed in 2020 and how SEO changed from your point of view in the last years.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it also relates to your first question as well about what is, content and what is the purpose of content. So in SEO, people have heard for years and years, content is king and content is the difference maker and all of this, but that's not always been the case, even though that is the story that Google's been telling. But what we're seeing now more recently is that Google can back up the claims it's making, the instructions that it's giving to people like agencies like ourselves, as well as businesses in e-commerce and many other industries. Essentially, Google is becoming better at detecting what content is all about, what the semantic meaning of it is, the quality of it, the objective quality of it, by looking at many more signals than previous. So looking at engagement, looking at things around how links are created, how people are discussing that content, how it is cited, the kind of quality updates to the Google algorithm over the past year or so have been around those type of areas. And I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the acronym EAT. So expertise, authority, and trust. These are the things that Google is really pushing in quite specific ways for your on-site content and for SEO as well. So really, it's not just about pretending to be good now, it's about really having to be good in your quality content and providing content that people genuinely can value. And a good rule of thumb for that is, does it end the search? When people search for a query and they find your page, does that end their search, or do they need to go somewhere else? If you're able to answer those questions, anticipate those questions, and provide the services or products that they're looking for, you'll be in a very good shape to capitalize on that in SEO terms.
I see. Jarek, Martin told us about how SEO has changed in our last years. Can you maybe enlighten on which social media platforms should we focus on when we talk about marketing strategies? Do you have a preferred one? Is there something that is particularly going good or going wrong with social media platforms?
Well, it all depends on the business you're in. Well, basically, TikTok has been recently quite huge. Although to monetize the traffic from LinkedIn, from TikTok, is quite a challenge now. With B2B, LinkedIn is going pretty well right now, but since we're all somehow locked down in our apartments or small offices, and we don't really, gather in bigger groups anymore, people are really using Facebook at this point. Well, Instagram is mostly a stream of content. Obviously, pictures from your friends, from celebrities you follow, from, I don't know, some of your hobbies, but Messenger brings people to Facebook somehow. So, and people are using the rooms on Messenger. So the conversions from Messenger skyrocketed, as I saw from my experience. But yeah, it all depends on your business. However, in my opinion, it should all start on Facebook. Keeping in mind that the Facebook backend, so to say, is all connected, right? Facebook and Instagram. So I think if you have not like the biggest passion in the world, let's say, you should focus on Facebook and Instagram. See which platforms work better, and don't forget about Messenger, because some of the messages they can be written quite well, and the open rate from Messenger itself, yeah, they're much higher than before COVID. So once you set up a campaign on Facebook, don't forget to put all the effort to see how the ad is performing, how the ad is displaying on different channels. Don't just hit random. See how everything is displayed on all channels.
That's nice. Anna, your input on content, please, on this one.
Absolutely, I can hear you guys perfectly now.
Wow, that's great.
It's something I gush about, and I'm such a huge nerd of, because I have seen huge brands, beautiful products that have succeeded exponentially with good content, but also the other way around. And if I can choose just one item and one trend or advice that I can give you for 2021, that would definitely be USG. User-generated content. User-generated content for all the brands is going to be the turning point. We have tried it with small samples for small, medium, and huge brands, and it's just incredible. People like to see other people that are relatable. We don't want to see the most beautiful people wearing stuff that, everyone is beautiful, but it's just being relatable. It's going to be the beautiful trend of 2021, and user-generated content is the key because it translates everything into digital marketing quite easily. So
wow, that's quite a nice way to put it. Now, I've had some particular questions for you guys in general terms of marketing, content, SEO, etc. How do we put those into the Christmas frame of 2020? Well, everybody knows Christmas means shopping. How does email marketing conversion differ from the normal behavior during the year, and especially in terms of e-commerce? Who wants to take on this one? Because it's a little bit of everything. Anna.
You see what I did there? I raised my hand. I've always been an A student, can you tell?
Yeah, we can surely tell.
All right, so this is a great one because I just had a beautiful blog last week, and all I was focusing on was the holiday shopping. But I always say this: it doesn't necessarily have to be holiday shopping because there's a big holiday around the corner all year round. So for digital marketing, affiliate marketers in particular, it's a great opportunity to put your skills to a test because people are going to shop 100%. Even if it's, we are dealing with this ugly pandemic this year, you still are going to have a lot of people that are going to go, shop because they're at home. They want to do something nice for their families. We have analyzed customer behavior for the last few quarters, and people, they're still going to shop more than ever, maybe this year, because they want to do something nice for their families. We have already, overall, you already see a huge trend of more shopping online. Starting in March, all the big companies are going to tell you, specifically with e-com also, there's a trend going up of expensing and people buying more. And the holidays this year, I believe, are going to be, even bigger than last year when it comes to consumer increasing their spend. And you can tie that psychologically with the pandemic, because people are at home, they are stressed, but also they want to do nice things for their families. And e-com is going to be easier because you also want to buy useful things, right? And it's okay to tie that in early. We have already started working on holiday creatives already. We have them because you have Halloween, you have Thanksgiving, you have Black Friday, and this is all before Christmas, right? So holiday, they're a beautiful way to really target specific people that love other holidays, not just Christmas. And you can start early in the year. How I said, we already have all the creatives ready for Halloween, and people love it. It's really a nice way to think about it like this. As digital marketers, just like television experts do, you take the people out of their everyday problems and you give them something fun, sprinkled with, in this case, Halloween, and just do something different because it's that time of the year, and you can shop and do things in a different way. So long story short, it's going to be one of the best seasons yet. And it's really important to not use the same content as everyone else. I know it takes time, but if you're going to spend a bit of time to be creative and work on new content, it's going to really be a cash cow.
Thank you very much, Anna. So as far as I get it until now, we're going to have, in theory at least, we're going to have double the consumer amount in everything related to e-com. And of course, we're going to have to double our input as owners of social media platforms. So tell us a bit, Martin, in terms of conversion and optimization, what are the strategies considering this double situation? I mean, on one hand, we had the COVID situation, which our first impulse is to say that, okay, the market is going down. But on the other hand, just because of this COVID situation, people are tending to buy more online. E-commerce is spiking, and it's gonna keep on spiking with the holidays approaching. So, Martin, could you tell us a little bit more about basically how to do our best in terms of conversion rate optimization?
Sure. I mean, personally, I don't think we're going to see a doubling. I think this Christmas and Black Friday is going to be down on last year. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. One of the kind of good early warning signs of that are if brands are spending less on their advertising on TV and on, for example, very standard channels like Google, which they are. So things, the cost per click is going down in a lot of categories, which implies that companies are trimming their budget, possibly in response to limited demand. Now, we know people are buying online for the necessities and stuff that will make their life easier. We know that in a downturn, people like little luxuries, like, a nice aftershave or a nice lipstick or whatever, something that makes you feel good. And, aftershave and lipstick make me feel very good. But it's a case of they're not going to be buying that continuously because there's so many people out of work and there's so many people who are at risk of being out of work, especially if we look at the USA and the economic implications of being unwell. So I think we're going to see some caution. I think we're going to see people focusing in on the things that, like Anna says, the things that make them happy, the things that will really make a difference. So when it comes to conversions, I think it's always good to be led by the data. So looking at what people are actively searching for, which is publicly available data, you look at Google Trends, there's a lot of tools out there tracking things that are on the up, things that are on the way down, looking at what big competitors are spending money on in terms of their advertising, because they can give you a hint that if they're spending big on certain product promotion, that probably is something that is selling well or has the potential to sell well. So that's where, if you're a smaller business, it's good to take some clues from this publicly available data and factor that into your conversion plan. So from my point of view, I think the key thing is to, focus on what the publicly available data is telling you. Focus on your own data, look at your own click-through rates very closely, look at all of your channels very closely, look at your return on ad spend, and really, really look at the numbers. That's kind of what I would really suggest. And then what you can try and do is bring some of this messaging into your creatives, bring it into your promotions, because people don't necessarily want to hear that everything is okay. They might want to hear something different. So I think that's where the current context is different. If you want to magnify conversions, people don't necessarily want to hear what they heard last year because it's a different environment. So I'd say listen to your customers, think about what they are responding to, what problems can you solve, and what problems can you help them forget about. That's kind of what I would factor into conversion, in addition to all the usual stuff around monitoring click-through rate, monitoring heat maps, monitoring where people are clicking, where they're not clicking, what they're searching for, what they're not searching for, to try and take as much of the risk away from yourself as possible.
That's some valuable input, Martin. Thank you very much. Anna, I saw that you would like to add something to this or put on.
Absolutely. And that was, Martin, so beautifully put that people want to hear a different story, a different dialogue from last year. I completely agree. And also I want to piggyback on something that Martin said. Big brands are spending less, right? And this is key and ties in with what I was explaining earlier. So of course, globally, people are going to spend less in many areas, but in digital marketing and in our industry, people are going to spend way more. And that's why I'm seeing this trend starting March and going, even we had the Facebook boycott, right? So I don't know if you guys are super familiar with that, but because a lot of the big brands were not spending a lot, smaller people like us, the affiliate marketing, the underdogs, we got to spend in way more. We got to increase our spend and our revenues doubled and tripled. And because the big brands are not going to spend, and we can already see the trends of earning per clicks being cheaper for the small guys, that's why I can see the trend of going up. And us, not overall globally, but us in affiliate marketing, digital marketing, performance marketing, we are seeing a huge increase specifically because big brands are not spending as much as they did.
Thank you, Anna. Jarek, how about Facebook ads? How about organic social media content strategies? Do you see things differently compared to Anna and Martin's are going in two kind of separate directions. I mean, there are two different point of views. We would really like to hear the third one. So what can you tell us in terms of Facebook ads and organic content strategies?
Well, actually, I don't like to separate the two. The brand has to speak the same language. Very often I see this mistake that one person is writing the email shoot, right? The other person is writing the ads. The other person is writing the organic, the unpaid Facebook wall messages. So if there are like 3 people working on the same thing, on the same method, there are some inconsistencies. And what people want to see now, maybe unconsciously, they want to see consistency when it comes to content. So I don't want to separate these things. Obviously, you're both right, Martin and Anna, but I think that the small guys, as you said, the underdog, not to go bankrupt over the Facebook budget, we should focus on the current clients. So, deep retargeting, many versions of the same message, of course, consistent. But I wouldn't focus on going for new clients because people on Facebook are bombarded with the same product. The same minute they say something, Facebook actually listens. It's not it's actually true. So whenever we say something, we are bombarded with ads immediately. So it's important that this message is personalized. And I would rather focus on what we can achieve from our current clients, and just remind them that, listen, guys, we're existing. We're still, we're still selling what we used to sell. And even going for retargeting, dating back to even half a year, of course it's possible on Facebook. So not even 30 days retargeting, let's say the standard, but deep retargeting and testing different groups. So before we go for the cold clients, when we just focus on the interest on Facebook, or before we even go for lookalikes, to target someone that is similar to our our audience that is currently using our website, I would start with retargeting, just not to go over the budget,
Yeah, for me, I think it's good to be cautious in that way, to get maximum value out of the people who already like you or seem to like you, especially now when budgets are, something to be guarded in a way. But I also think, there is space to be, once you've got that locked down, it's about how to use data to cleverly go after some of these new audiences without going broke. And, for a smaller business, that's a more realistic scenario. But even for larger businesses and multinationals, they're getting more scrutiny over what they're spending on. So if you just happen to be a manager at a large firm and you don't want to get sacked, you'd rather get a promotion, you still have to focus very closely on what the data is telling you. So I think, Yarek's right, just make sure you're not leaving any money on the table from existing potential pools of customers. And then, just use data to find the next batch, because I do think Anna is also correct that there are big opportunities right now, particularly in click cost. It's just about weighing up that opportunity versus weighing up the reasons why that cost is low. And in some cases, the cost is low because the value isn't there. So it's about running your own race and making sure that you're, again, applying the data in the right way, I think.
Well, that's some really nice input there. Martin, I'm going to stick to you a little bit more. Speaking of strategies, what are some of the most common mistakes made in terms of CRO, and how to avoid them? I mean, why do you think these mistakes are so frequent, and the best way to eliminate them?
I think the biggest mistake is when people really like the idea of CRO. They like the idea of conversion rate optimization. They like the idea that their marketing is going to become more scientific. We're going to find new areas of value. We're going to waste less money. But what they don't like is the actual implementation, because it's hard. and you've got to make decisions, and you've got to work with the development team, and you've got to make changes, and you've got to understand mathematics, and it all gets quite tiresome for some people. So I think a lot of people like the idea of it, but they're not really set up to do it. And that usually results in mistakes like running, A/B tests when they don't have the volume of traffic to make it scientific. Okay, you get 10 visitors on one page, 8 visitors on another. That's not really telling you anything. So this is kind of what people waste their own time and money on, is when there isn't the data there to make a difference, and people shouldn't fool themselves about that. On the other side, when there are kind of high traffic companies with high traffic, industries, I guess, that's where you can really make some quick gains, but you've got to have all of the tools available to you to not just understand what the opportunity is, but then to act on it. So if you have an e-commerce business and you figure out that changing the button from buy now to purchase now, whatever it happens to be, and it can be weird and strange in the world of Crow, what people respond to, it's weird. But we don't really care about the why. All we care about is this is what is making the difference in terms of money. So if that's a change that needs to be made, it's important not to have to wait 12 weeks for a development team to go and implement that. And then you miss the Black Friday opportunity, or you miss the Christmas opportunity. And, as Anna says, there's always another big event, but you don't want to leave money on the table. And I think if there's anything that I can communicate today for e-commerce brands in particular, it's don't leave money on the table right now, because you probably need it. And if you don't need it, it's good to have it, because God knows what's going to happen in 2021. So I think that's the key. So that's the biggest mistake in Crow. I think it's still an area where, given how much money people spend on brand ambassadors, or they spend on broadcast advertising or out-of-home advertising, we can't really track back effectively. It makes sense to actually, invest in Crow. And normally it's not the money investment that's the problem, it's the investment of time and organization to get your SEO team involved, get the development team involved, get the merchandising people involved, get the affiliate team involved. It's all of this stuff. So if you're ready to do the work, then it's one of the most cost-effective things you can possibly do, because you're just making more of the existing traffic. You've already got them there. You've got them into the store. It's time to sell to them and make it easy for them to buy. That's really what it comes down to. Make it easy for them to make a purchase, especially now when everyone's at home. And, as we discussed earlier, people want little pleasures. They want little treats. They want to do something nice for themselves, and they want to get the best possible gift for their partner or their family. So, yeah, don't push people away. Don't leave money on the table. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Martin. Jarek, what about mistakes and flaws in Facebook ads and in Facebook in general? What are companies doing wrong, or what are they doing too much, or what are they not doing? We've seen some great campaigns rolled out on Facebook, but also we all know that there are some horrible campaigns as well. What are they doing wrong, and how to correct that in terms of content, in terms of Facebook marketing?
Well, I think basically the most common mistake for small and medium companies, they trust Facebook too much. It's not an ideal tool at all, specifically when it comes to data. As Martin said, being data-driven is absolutely essential. And many companies, they're reading blogs, the managers are reading, the newspapers, the marketing news, and, they want to apply big models. I mean, models made for big companies. I mean, how to check the data, what the data, says to us. But actually, they are not given that much data to work on, right? If we have 5,000 people a month on the website, some of those data don't work. So I think people on the other hand, managers underestimate what they already have. They're always looking for new customers, as I said before, rather than testing different audiences based on the website URL. Okay, so let's say we have 3 stages of being on the website. So let's say someone enters the main page, then you have the cart, then you have the purchase, right? So even with a couple of thousand users a month, you can already do some really nice testing. And they don't think about the conversion funnel sometimes. They don't think about it at all. There are so many different tools on Facebook to test our traffic. So let's say, for example, we have a URL, and we tell Facebook, okay, fork out the group that spends the most time on the website, or maybe someone that went through from the main page to the cart. Then, if the managers already know it, the other mistake is to put everything into one. This is actually a technical mistake, to put all the audiences in one campaign. I see, like, most of my clients before I came on board, they were mixing the audiences, especially when it comes to the size. You can't really use audiences of different sizes in one campaign. I see this mistake being made all the time. So yeah, summing up, I think the most important thing is to actually underestimate Facebook itself and not underestimate our traffic.
That's really, really nice, and you pointed out some really important things out there. Anna, since we're at the mistakes sections, what are the most common mistakes in terms of content marketing, in terms of content itself? Please unmute you. Unmute yourself.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's kind of going beautifully because I do want to touch base a bit on Facebook also because we have a lot of people that are watching, and a lot of you guys probably do Facebook, either one for your company, but also to promote your products, right? So I always am a huge fan of giving specific things that once you're done listening to us, you can do better. And one of the huge things that I implore you to do, if you are a marketer and you want to do better when promoting anything on Facebook, make sure you get a no redirect link. That's not going to be complicated. If you work with a company or a product owner that has a bit of tech background, they're going to know exactly what you need. So just mention the no redirect link, and I promise you that's going to really help you get over that bump of getting anything approved much easier. Make sure when it comes to content, using disruptive content on your ad or landing page, because Facebook loves ad creatives and copy that's sleek and modern and very much relevant to what's going on today. This means your ad, image, video, or landing page should be all kept under the regular violation or non-violation terms, right? And times are pretty tough anywhere in the world, but the last thing you should do is capitalize on and exploiting the controversy, right? So I know we are performance marketing, and when it comes to content, we like to be aggressive, but this is not the time. We are very much business people. We, what I was saying earlier, that we see a trend of, selling more. We sell more. The digital marketing people sell more, right? Martin was right. Martin and I were saying the same thing. Overall, in the world, people are going to buy less. But us, digital marketers, it's our time to shine because we have tricks and tips and things we can do differently, right? So we can do that, but it's not time to press on the controversy with your content, because, you know, if you do Facebook or Instagram, even if you do Google Ads, you know, we have a lot of live ad campaigns. That's what's gonna get you shut down, right? So, you know, the era of the black hat, I don't want to say died, because it's always gonna be around, right? People are still gonna make money from black hat and whatnot. But if you want to be relevant, if you want your company to thrive in 2021, you want to build on the controversy without pressing on people's, you know, deepest fears, right? So pressing on the fears is really not going to be the way to go, because the truth is you do have a lot of smart people watching. The shoppers are way smarter than they were before, at least to the extent that they research before buying anything. You know, it's common knowledge that customers now read 3 to 5 pieces of content before deciding on what they're going to purchase. So yes, you have people out of jobs, they're at home thinking what to shop. Well, remember, those are educated people that you probably don't want to tell them something extremely aggressive and controversial to buy them to shop, but give them something sweet and fuzzy, something that's going to make them feel a bit better about themselves, and that's going to be a turning, you know, point as far as content.
Thanks. Anna, I'm going to stick to you with one of the more trickier questions. Tell us a little bit more about these unknown or undiscovered gems in terms of traffic sources that are profitable, but people don't really know about.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, I always love to talk about this, because you have your Facebook and Instagram, which are wonderful. Many times when we have new affiliates that I meet at a conference and they ask me what they should start with, I actually do encourage them to try Facebook, because with $20 a day, chances are you can be a bit profitable enough in time to be able to quit the 9 to 5, right? You never give people advice to go and look for the, you know, the cool traffic sources right from day one. However, there are things that, you know, people know that we love to try new sources, right? We always get discounts and we get pitched new traffic sources. We test them and then we tell you if it makes sense or not. So the last year we spent a lot of time testing, and we actually had a lot of success when it comes to social, not just with YouTube, right, but also with Pinterest and TikTok. So those were beautiful. On TikTok, the cost was extremely low. In comparison to Facebook and Instagram, the cost was way lower. However, you don't want to try TikTok if your current customer base is, you know, in their mid-30s, mid-40s, 50s, or older. TikTok works really good for, I want to say, 18 to 25-year-olds, right? Pinterest, on the other end, was beautiful when it came to female shoppers, and not just the younger, you know, category base, but also, I want to say, the baby boomers too. So Pinterest was beautiful, and again, the cost was much cheaper. You know about Facebook, Google Ads, but there are dozens of other pay-per-click or view digital advertising networks. We have buy-sell ads, info links, ad media. These are really affordable too if you're just getting started, right? And one of my favorite, and what I think is going to be extremely relevant next year, is going to be native advertising and native ads. I definitely wanted to encourage you to try something like Outbrain, something like Taboola, even Verizon Media, right? Because Verizon Media is something that's not as well known as the others. However, it's very, very profitable. And you have a lot of other, you know, categories where you can sell restricted categories, right? You're thinking even adult size gambling, products that usually are not probably purchased on our websites or many of our viewers. But if we have people that are listening to this, I want to make sure we give them some interesting sources that they can relate to, right? And I want to bring up Traffic Junkie, ExoClick, Traffic Hunt, Arrow Advertising, what else? Zero Park. So these are all traffic sources that if you're, I'm a huge fan of taking notes when you're listening to the conferences. You can go back later on today, give them a chance. And my favorite about this are that your ad spend is not going to be huge from day one. You can give it a try, see if it's good for your product, and not be broke in a week once you try them.
That's really, really nice. I'm going to take a quick tour with the following question, and I'm going to start with Jarek. What are, in your opinion, the best tools to draw traffic during Christmas season, with emphasis on Christmas?
Well, I don't think there is anything specific you should change for a Christmas season or any other season. I mean, if you don't have any processes in place that you are testing and running constantly, well, it's probably not going to be successful during Christmas unless this is, it's just pure luck. So use your tools wisely all year round and focus on content, focus on the offer, not on the actual tool. I mean, you can't just be successful with one tool in December and with another on Easter. So I would say don't panic, don't do anything, just because there is Christmas season. Think about how to use the tool you're using every day.
Awesome, thank you very much. Martin, do you think that there are things to do differently during the Christmas season in terms of, everything, in terms of drawing traffic, of developing content?
I think Jarek's right. It's good to know your channels, and to be honest, Christmas can be an expensive time to experiment, but purely because there is more volume potentially. So it might not be the best time to experiment. If you're inclined to try something new, if you're kind of feeling like your performance is a bit mediocre right now and you want to give some new channel a try, I'd probably start right now. And Anna mentioned a few decent options there for native advertising, which is something that the ICS Digital team do quite a lot of research into to try and benchmark some of these platforms, because there's literally dozens and dozens of them, from the very respectable to the not so respectable. So I think one area where I would probably disagree with Jarek is that if there is good evidence to suggest that Christmas is a time when people are more likely to buy more of a certain thing, even though it might be the case that you're using multiple channels all year round, if you just want volume of sales, in that case, sometimes there might be a channel that works better at Christmas purely because of the reach, not because of the ROI in terms of return on ad spend, not because it's the cheapest, but if you just think, okay, this is the one time of the year, I know at this time of the year people buy sofas and mattresses. If you just want to sell a lot of them, it might well be the case that, okay, I have my cost-effective channel over here, but I know if I just want to brute force this and sell as much as I possibly can at this peak time, I need to spend a bit more per click, and it's going to be on this channel. So that's maybe where you might want to shuffle the deck a little bit in terms of selecting channels. For SEO, it's too late. Pretty much. Like for Christmas 2020, you kind of want to be having a plan that starts in like March, really. If you're in a really competitive category, you can still take advantage of opportunities if you get some, really, really strong mainstream media links from like a really reputable newspaper. Buying guides for Christmas are always good for that. So you can get really strong links. And if you don't have them historically in your backlink profile, that could be the thing that really pushes you up quite quickly. If you have a fairly high performing SEO plan in general, starting in October to try and rank for early December is too late. You can still try, you can still, tweak things, add content, add new products, but really if Christmas is a big time for you, it's It's got to be like a total war approach from earlier in the year across multiple things. I guess, you know, one area that doesn't apply is, as we said before, native advertising. So Taboola, Outbrain. You know, I'm skeptical about some of the adult platforms because of the lack of transparency in reporting. There are actual verifiable scams out there as well. So it's something to, you know, take a close look at. But yeah, I'd say, you know, for Christmas, you can get immediate traffic no matter what. But ideally, your plan would have been, you know, developed way in advance. So some of the topics that we spoke about earlier, like CRO, conversion rate optimization, you'll know what your top performing pages are likely to be. You know what to monitor for at this time when there might be a big burst in attention, so that you're, you know, if you get 10,000 visitors, you're selling to 8,000 of them, not 4,000 of them. You know, that's what makes a difference. Yeah, but I think Eric's right. You know, you need to have a full year-round plan. But I think where I maybe differ slightly is to think, okay, if this is your window of opportunity, it might be worth spending more on certain platforms that wouldn't be sustainable all year round, maybe.
Thank you very much. We do have our first question from the audience addressed to Anna. Do you see more affiliate marketers joining the industry or less? And I want to add something to this one. Is it, how is it influenced by the COVID situation?
Oh, awesome. I love it. I love questions. You see, everyone knows this. I'm going to take just a half a minute to also address what my friends were saying here. And I want to say I'm a huge fan of holiday creatives because I have seen it work. It doesn't have to be, but Jarek was correct. Again, we don't have, even if we have a different point of view where it comes to specific sources, Jarek is still very correct that you should have a good plan for the entire year. You don't want to come in all, you know, hot and cool just in December because all year round you did not do a really good job with your campaigns. So of course, number one, all over, you know, all year you should be very prepared. However, if you have it in your ad budget and you have the competency to press on holiday creatives, I have seen it work on native specifically, right? So not just Outbrain and Taboola, but also Content Ad or MGID. For example, we had September 13 was Grandparents' Day in the US, right? You're thinking Grandparents' Day, no one knows about it. Well, guess what? We swiped some nice email swipes, send a few emails. The cost, you know, remained the same. However, because we marketed as a holiday, a lot of people bought it. So a huge fan of holiday creatives, of course. If it's something you are good at and you've done it before, you want to be relevant to what's working for you the entire year, not just now. And thank you for the question. I am seeing a huge increase of affiliates that are joining the industry. It's one of the big reasons why we decided to take on more of these beautiful opportunities to speak and be there for people that are interested to learning more. In our industry, we really have a lot of room for other people to quit their 9-to-5 jobs and join. We really have so much room for new people in digital marketing, and it makes me super sad that people don't know about it. I didn't know about it. I was working in a hospital that I was in downtown Los Angeles. I finished a marketing university at UCLA, and I knew this much about affiliate marketing. And I am thrilled to see that starting March of this year, we have seen an increase of signups of people that want to become affiliate marketers of 22%. And that's huge, guys, right? And I'm excited because there's a lot of room for it. And my biggest, tip for people that are just starting is to be careful. You don't have to look at the people that are making $50,000 a day. Just make enough to, be able to support your family. If you sell one product and you get a commission of $100 every day, that's going to be beautiful, right? So yes, I'm seeing an increase, and I think it's going to be a really good platform for a lot of people next year to build on, a new career, really.
Thank you really much, Anna. Just before our question from the audience, I had something in mind built on what both Martin and Jarek were saying regarding strategies and traffic conversion during the Christmas season, or basically any season. But I've got another interesting one. What advices do you have for fresh businesses that are entering the market, like right now, when they're entering the market during the start of all this holiday frenzy that everyone is preparing for? Anyone want to take the first one or the first answer, or should I nominate? Okay, Ini Mini, Mini, Mo, Martin.
So I mean, I guess I'm the more cynical, least optimistic person. But I think if you're starting new, it's important to ask as many questions as possible of as many people who will talk to you. Bearing in mind that the people who are really good, some will be really welcoming, some will be lucky and they might not even really truly know why they're so successful. I think that's a big thing in marketing that people don't admit often enough. When things go really well, it's always because of how clever somebody is. It's never because of luck. And I think, you know, to start a new business and to grow, you need some luck. You need to speak to this person rather than this person at the right time. So I think, you know, recognize luck, remove risk as much as possible, drain other people for information. And I mean, one of the good things about these days is you have so many opportunities to use, you know, publicly available, inexpensive tools, many from Google, but also stuff like SEMrush, Ahrefs, Search Metrics, Google's Keyword Planner, all this type of stuff. There's loads of opportunities to find data. Likewise, all the major social channels, you can do a bit of modeling in terms of audiences quite easily. Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, everything. And then finally, the native ad platforms that, you know, we've been talking about as well, especially some of the newer ones or less well-known ones, they're keen to get clients on board. So they will normally bend over backwards to give you some information. Now, you've got to still verify it all. You've still got to think, does that sound accurate on a, you know, in your gut level? But you've still got the opportunity to get all of this data. So personally, I think if you're not comfortable with numbers, if you're not comfortable in trying to figure out what is true and what is not true, it's probably not the best approach. If you just want a kind of tiny lifestyle business and you're not going to put much of your money into it, cool, you can afford to make mistakes. But if you want to grow something, or if you're at a larger company and you want to take on new channels, find new opportunities to be the hero or heroine, to really push your company forward, you've got to pay attention to the data. And I guess one of the good things is there are people who will talk to you about it. There are people who will share their insight, and then it's kind of up to you to compare and contrast. That's kind of, I guess, what I would do. Look at the data, talk, listen, but don't believe everything you hear, basically.
Really nice put, Martin. Thank you very much. Jarek?
Yeah, I think you should follow your gut feeling, but you need to check. You need to check it with the data that is available online, and there is a lot. Trust me, there is a lot in different languages. Not only in English. You have to dig the data that are already there. Secondly, I think you should start with, I mean, if you're starting a business, the online business, I think you should start with a persona or a couple of ones, and then see if you know any of, I mean, maybe some of your friends are similar to this persona that you created, and just ask them questions openly and be open to feedback. If this is all aligned with your gut feeling, go for it. Then you will be probably successful. With the campaigns and the initial traffic and reach, what I can say coming from social media background, just ask your friends to share stuff. It's reach as well. It's traffic. It brings traffic. Maybe you don't know who your friends know. There are also, if you're passionate about your product, you probably are already present in some groups on Facebook. Speak to the admins, ask them, guys, can I offer like a weekly discount for the people that are on the page? Probably they will gonna say yes. Negotiate with them. Maybe try to cover it. Maybe not. Don't try to sell directly. I don't know. Create a funny meme. Maybe something that will be engaging for the community. Something that will catch the eye. You have to be really creative here, and I think even if you have a big budget to start with, maybe it's your third or second business, still this has to be done anyway, because this is just a time investment. You don't have to spend any money here. So yeah, talk to your friends, talk to the admins of the Facebook groups you're already present on, or just join them and speak openly to the admins. Yeah, this way you can reach thousands of people, and the people that will enter your website coming from this traffic, you can be sure that they are, interested in this product, and just shooting it randomly on Facebook and being happy that, oh wow, 1,000 people went on my website, so this traffic won't be that valuable. So also be careful where you shoot it to. The traffic from a 20,000 people group on Facebook will be very valuable. And if you reach even 1,000 people, try and start testing lookalikes if you have any advertising budget.
Really, really, really awesome. Thank you very much, Jarek. Anna, how about content when you're a fresh business, when you're just entering the market?
That's so important, and I love this question. It's a huge passion of helping people that are just getting started, and I just want to say how much I love what Martin said about asking and reaching out to other people when you're just getting started, because you can be a brilliant human. You can have both a high EQ and a high EQ, and if you don't know the right people, it's going to be incredibly hard. I mean, I say it all the time, and it's no secret. I wouldn't be where I am today with a huge, 8-figure company if I did not meet my, my mentor a few years back, Mike Peters, or if I didn't along the way met a lot of other brilliant people that were very kind, right? So of course you want to have the hustle and the determination and ask the right questions, but you do need a bit of luck, and you can make your luck by asking a lot of the right questions. But more than anything, and this is going to be impacted by the last book that I'm reading, which is called 5 Moves Ahead by Patrick Pat-Davis. And really, it sounds so cheesy, and if you knew me 5 years ago, you knew I hate this whole. That's absolutely okay. You don't
live streaming is on.
Have the the goals of making 50K a day, looking at the people on Instagram that have Lamborghinis and Rolexes. Maybe that's a goal too, but not necessarily. So knowing yourself comes to the extent of what you want for your business, what you think you're capable of, and the right people that are going to help you. And thinking about the right people is where content comes in, right? So if you don't know yourself as being something extremely witty and good about creating viral content, there are fantastic people out there that you can hire to do that for you, right? So my advice when it comes to content, if you're not very good at that, just hire people that are brilliant. I mean, as a business owner, you should know, always hire people that are smarter than you, people that are going to tell you what to do and how to do it. And when it comes to content, that's key. I mean, hire a company like Jarek's or Martin's. Like, you don't have to do it yourself. So when it comes to content, that's my best advice. If you don't know how to do it, hire a brilliant company to do it for you, because if you're serious about your business, that's going to be extremely important. Not even on your products, but on your business, right? I mean, MaxWeb as a company, we do affiliate marketing for hundreds of companies. And when it came to our own marketing, we were clueless. So when we just went ahead and hired people that were specifically good at creating content for companies, not for products. So yeah, don't be embarrassed that it's not in your skill set, and go and hire someone brilliant when it comes to content, because how I said earlier today, user-generated content is going to be a huge key for next year. And if you're not very good at that, you probably want someone that's going to be really good at creating that for you on social media to start with.
Thank you very much, Anna. Really nice put. We've got another question from the audience, and again, it's for you, Anna. What are some affiliate marketing trends you don't want to miss in 2021?
The trends, we love them, right? So I mean, I don't know if you guys work a lot with the affiliate marketing industry all the time, but for us this is really important. And when I said the only constant is change, we are serious, and you can see everyone is like worried about this. So, you know, to keep it short and sweet, one of the big trends I'm seeing is user-generated content. We started seeing it on Facebook earlier this year. It's translated into Instagram, Snapchat, even in search traffic. You're going to start seeing the videos with user-generated content. Make it short and sweet. Show the story of the product right away. If you can do it in 15 seconds, for example, really good example that you can take home with you today. Someone was selling cat food, and they showed a cat, they showed the delivery box coming with the cat, and some really beautiful points where, you know, cat food was made before the war and it was dry, but cats need, you know, a lot of hydration in their food. And you can see the user, you know, stay-at-home mom opening the box, feeding the cat. So make it as relatable as possible, not just with user-generated content, but make it relatable to the user. Please don't copy other affiliates, don't copy other brands, because customers are getting smarter. They're going to pick up on that. People are not going to respect you, right? So even when it comes to content, or just you as an affiliate or a business owner, be a really good human being. I mean, that's going to help you. You know, I might look like a young person that doesn't know what she's talking about, but we've been doing this for 16 years, and being a decent human, you know, it's really going to help in business and being relevant when it comes to content, because customers are going to be able to relate to what you're writing. Use more visuals. There are numerous, you know, platforms out there where you can actually get like free pictures every day, or they can be delivered to your email every day. So it's really no excuse to use silly stock photos that everyone else is using, like Pixably, or, you know, you can message me after this and I'll give you at least 5 platforms where you get free pictures that you can use for your content every day. They're going to be free. You know, some of them you actually want to pay the photographers that are taking the pictures. It's really cheap for you, but it's going to be a huge help for them. Use headlines. The co-schedule headline analyzer, that's a tool we personally use. You can start using it tomorrow, and it's going to help you tremendously, because if you have a good headline, even if you're on social media, email, if you're on content ad or Taboola, it's going to be extremely relevant to how your conversions and how many products you sell, right? Check your grammar. That's a huge one when it comes to content, right? I mean, it's no excuse. No matter if you're a millennial and you don't like to write cursive, there's really no excuse for bad grammar. And too many times we see it in emails or online advertising, and that's not okay. I mean, the paid Grammarly is like $12 a month, I think, maybe it's less, but it's worth every penny. I mean, if English is not your first language, even if it is, you should use stuff like that for your content, right? So really good pictures, user-generated content, check your spelling, make sure your headlines are really, you know, are important, because that's going to be, it's going to set the tone for your entire platform and for your entire product visualization. And besides all the beautiful content that you're writing, content is not vital if you're not using really good tracking to your links and to gathering the information, right? So another quick tip, use something like Monster or anything where you can get the leads of people visiting your content. You want to know who stopped and looked at your ad. So please take advantage of the data. Again, tools to keep track of your visitors are not expensive, but if you're taking the time to write beautiful content, you should know who clicked on it, where was that person from, and what's the best approach to go and get them and turn them into customers. I can talk for another hour about this, so I'm just going to stop here.
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. And now for the bomb controversial statement I have for you guys, and I'm really curious to hear your input on this. So it sounds like this: write for people, not for search engines. So write for people, not for search engines. Jarek.
Can you paraphrase the question? I don't know if I got the bomb, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna write it down in the chat so you can see it word by word. It's write for people, not for search engines. So, what is your position in this? I mean, do we have to write or create content for our users or for our search engines? If we create it for our users, how do search engines react? And if we create a content for the search engines, how do users react?
Well, I think you have to always be human, just like Anna said, like just be a decent person when you want to sell something. Speak openly to your clients. If you want to hide something, they will know it or they will somehow smell it. And again, people are getting smarter. Customers are getting smarter. They know how to go online better, how to compare the offers. So you have to be just honest. Of course, write for the people, for the right people. Know your customers. Sometimes we have occasions to talk to them. For example, if there is an angry customer calling us because something didn't work well. Obviously, it happens all the time. I mean, it's just normal, right? We don't have 100% power over what's going online. Sometimes there are mistakes that are not our fault even. Try and talk to them. Just ask them questions. People really appreciate it, and you can actually turn a mistake something good. Like this customer will be, wow, like I was never asked these questions before, or any questions actually. So don't try to just solve problems. Just ask your clients directly over the phone, over email, whenever there is a possibility. So obviously people. And actually, I came across this thing. There's always B2C, B2B kind of approach. And there's this age-to-age approach, human to human, and I think this just opens doors for the best sales. I think just be a decent person, just like Anna said. I think she put it really well.
Okay, thank you, Anna. What's your input on this one? Should we go with people or should we go with search engines in terms of content?
Search engines are like, I'm good?
Yeah, you're okay now.
Can you hear me, guys? Awesome. So search engines are really like IAs, intelligent artificial intelligence, that's usually created to mimic the human intellect, right? So even if you are writing for a search engine, the goal is always to reach the user. And I might be just a huge geek that thinks that robots are just as smart as we are. They are smarter, obviously, but I do think you should definitely have in mind the user when writing. All joke aside, search engines are really there to help the user experience. They are in place to get the information to the different users. Many times the search engine algorithms are based on our likes, on our preferences, on our predisposition of searching for specific keywords whenever we're in the mood for doing so, right? So always have the user in mind. Obviously, that's what's gonna sell, right? Because all the beautiful brands out there that are relevant years later, that's specifically what they did. They learn how to attract and get into the mind of the user, right? Even if they build on fear or anger or compassion, we know the shift today is to move away from that and be as empathic as possible, bring out the warm, fuzzy feeling if you want to sell, but definitely right for people.
Thank you very much, Anna. So, Martin, from the SEO specialist point of view, how do we stand on this?
So basically, that phrase "right for humans, not for search engines," that I believe that does originate with Google, and they have a ulterior motive in saying this, because what they want is for the best answer to be top, not for the company who is best at SEO. Now, of course, it would be lovely if the best answer was automatically the best SEO, but that is not always the case, or sometimes not even often the case. So I think it's a difficult one. So we need to not do some of the stuff from 10 years ago, which doesn't work now anyway, because Google is smarter. So stuff like keyword stuffing or just content that doesn't make sense, it's just a load of crap on a page, that won't help you even if you want it to. So there is an element of natural language that Google can understand. There was the kind of BERT update last year, which I cannot remember what it stands for, but it's like bidirectional encoding, retrieval, something. But basically, Google is literally, able to understand the intent and the meaning behind very complex pieces of content now in a way that a human might. However, it's still a machine. You still have to structure your content in a way that can be read by that machine in the most efficient way. So that's why, although a human being might be able to read a full paragraph and think that's the best paragraph available, you still want to focus on your heading, your H1, your H2. You still want to be signaling to Google that this page is the most important one on your website by having links from your other website pages to this one page. You still have to structure your video content to let Google know what this video contains, with what's called schema markup. Likewise, you can use this markup in the code as well, just to communicate that when you say Manchester, you mean the city, not the football team. So this is all right. This is all robot stuff, and Google loves it. It helps them to get the right answer. So I'd say the answer is in between. So you still got to be disciplined around technical performance, really disciplined, because that's what most people are possibly too interesting to bother with. It's dull people like me that are interested in this. And, behind me in ICS Digital, there's many, many other dull people who love this. But it's the way to make sure that your stuff can be found and understood. But whatever you put, it's got to be relevant for the audience. It's got to engage them on a human level. But that doesn't mean we don't optimize. We have to optimize. We have to be manipulative. Otherwise, what are you in the game for? It's got to be that balance between doing the right thing for human beings, but also making sure that people know that you are the right answer. So it's not just being the best, it's being seen to be the best.
That's really awesome, guys. So just before wrapping this up, do you have anything else to add or anything to ask maybe each other or anything else?
Well, I want to say this was awesome, and Martin, Jarek, definitely let's hang out before this, after this is over, because I would love to pick your brains on other beautiful ideas. So really, really fun, honestly.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks to the whole team for getting us involved. It's been very enjoyable and quick hour, and I'm sure we're all available to answer questions and take challenges afterwards as well over, networking and LinkedIn and everything else.
Yeah, thank you guys. I actually learned a lot myself from you because your words are a bit different than mine. Like social media is my main thing. So thank you for the input.
Okay, thank you very much, all of you. Really hope that anyone spectating our panel learned at least several things. I certainly know I've learned a whole lot of things, and thank you very, very much once again. Have a great one and take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we will have a 40 minutes break now, which is a virtual lunch break, and we will be back in an hour maximum. Hi, Tak, can you hear me?
Hi all.